How many of us have had the time to read the Torah portion this week, Tavo? This week you did. Well, the rabbi, I know for sure he did. As I was reading it, there's a portion in it that speaks so loud and clear, and I was about the Holocaust. And I was thinking of how often I've heard people say to me, I don't believe in God. Where was he during the Holocaust? Well, if you read the portion really closely, there was a part that I was reading, and I literally covered my mouth with my hands because it was so horrible to think of what can happen to people when we don't obey our Creator. If you disagree with what he says, talk to him, not to me. He warned us well, but we are sometimes unwilling to hear him. As the Torah says, we have eyes, but we do not see, and we have ears, but we do not hear. Now, I'm one of the baby boomers, born just after World War II. I didn't go through it. I didn't go through World War II, but I had my own Holocaust in my life. And now I understand it was because of so many of the things that I did that went against the Torah. And even though I wasn't taught the Torah growing up, ignorance is no excuse, so they say. I remember the first time I read the Ten Commandments when I was an adult, and I thought, oh my God, I've broken every single one of them. It's no wonder that I had so many problems in my life. The wonderful news that I'm learning today is that at any time in our lives, we can start again. We can turn things around. We can shift our paradigms. Now, we've heard the rabbi speaking very often about paradigm shifts. And every day we have an opportunity to make a small shift in our way of thinking if we simply choose to say yes to the Creator. Now, I don't know, does everyone understand what a paradigm shift is? There's a story about a man who was on a subway with his 3 young children. And the children were absolutely wild. They were running all over the place. And finally, a woman couldn't take it anymore and went over to the man who had his head down, completely ignoring his children. And she said to him, "What is the matter with you? Why don't you control your children?" And he looked up, and it was almost like he was in a daze. And he said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. We're just coming from the hospital. Their mother just passed away." And suddenly her whole paradigm about this man's behavior and the children completely changed. We had a good friend who used to come here, Ariella. She was here every Shabbat, but on Yom Kippur, she refused to drive. And she said, on Yom Kippur, I don't drive. But she drove on Shabbat. She had her paradigm. That was the way she thought it was supposed to be. There are people I know that won't move out of their house on Shabbat. And yet in the temple, there was a court of the women, there was a court for the Gentiles. Everybody went to the temple on Shabbat. It was about bringing community together. So we certainly all have a right to choose what we believe. But let's be certain that what we are choosing comes from a proper sense of judgment. Does it serve me well? And does it serve our community well? We judge ourselves and others every single day. We tell ourselves what we can and what we cannot do, what we can and cannot feel about something. And once we make a decision, it gets stuck in our brains until we have to make a conscious effort to change it. And then the shift will come. If we can continue to stubbornly refuse to move ahead with the Creator as our partner in everything we do, we will constantly struggle, and it'll feel like we are walking alone. This week I had so many amazing experiences with people to whom I've been able to shine a little bit of light of truth that I'm learning here. I believe that's our purpose. And we are not alone. We have a choice. If we walk with Him and obey His simple 10 Commandments, we will be blessed according to what He has outlined in this and other portions. If we stubbornly refuse, let's not be surprised if our lives seem cursed. But don't blame Him. Let's blame ourselves. Shabbat Shalom.